Through the last 25 years, I've crossed paths with such extraordinary people, and we've established lasting relationships that are just very dear to my heart. Well, my friends that manufacture and sell Elna sewing machines are such a fantastic group. You know, we've been close partners for years. At our black tie anniversary party, Elna presented me with the ultimate gift, a sewing machine with my name on it. Eleanor Burns' 25th anniversary. And you know, it's complete with a special decorative stitch that I selected that is perfect for crazy quilts. Now, not only did Elna give me one machine, but they gave me two. They gave me the first two off the assembly line. Just very special. Well, so I can get my sewing done quicker, my friends at Fiskar presented me with this huge pair of scissors. Now, these are for my giant quilts. Oh, they are just so much fun. Really cute. Now, together, Elna and Fiskar ran a contest asking for quilt guilds to submit why they would like me to visit them. And their response was tremendous. Look at this whole book. Well, the winning entry was from the Heirloom Quilters from East Iowa. Well, they wrote, "Who else but Eleanor can make us smile as we toss our scraps over our shoulders?" Well, I read through the book, and each entry is just very touching. You know, I would love to visit every single one that entered. And then here in the back is an applique block. It's just so cute. Me and my crown with my Elna sewing machine, strips tossed all around. And in the back, the artist signed it. Deborah Spofford did the page design and layout. It is just beautiful, and hours of reading. Well, Carolyn Fife and Yvonne McManaman turned the winning entry into this charming memory box. Oh, has a little quilt with the verse from the winners and fabric around the outside from my fabric line, complete with thread, measuring tape, antique scissors, and a little thimble. Well, for all my colleagues, I dedicate this quilt, Crossing Pathways. Well, it's made with 2.5-inch strips, of course, with pathways crossing in 2 different directions. Now, block 1 is made with the dark fabric A as the first chain, that's the blue, and then the light fabric B completes block 1. Now, block 2 is 2 medium fabrics with fabric C, that's the yellow, making the second chain, and it's beautiful. Now there's feathers in the framing border, and the outside border is a repeat of the first 2 blocks, just so nice. Well, this one is really striking. Joanna Mahler made this Crossing Pathways, and I just absolutely love the black running through here, the solid red crossing in the second direction, and then she set it with turquoise and gray. Very striking. Well, sometimes with good friends, you feel like you're crossing in 2 different directions. But today, we're on one path. So let's get this quilt started. I crossed paths with 6 fun ladies that came from Palm Desert, California to the Bear's Paw, and we made quilts together. Well, what a great time we had. One of the ladies, Betty Cross, decided that they should make an Eleanor doll for me. She got them busy, they all did some team sewing, and this is what they came up with. Now, Betty made my face, added those little tiny glasses, curly hair, really cute, and they dressed me up in my birthday outfit. Good old red, white, and blue. I love the little stars and the hat, the red jacket, denim pants. This is my favorite. Look at those little socks, beads on them, my signature socks. She gave me a basket full of fabric and a needle large enough so that I could see the hole. Well, then she made a little quilt to go with the Eleanor doll, and on the label, she placed Queen of the Strippers. And we are stripping again today. Now this is the wall hanging size of crossing pathways. Now there's 16 blocks in the very center, 8 block 1 and 8 block 2. You can see those diagonal paths in the dark green, and then in the opposite direction, the diagonal path in that medium purple. Now the inside framing border is exactly the same width as the block, so everything fits together. And then that border also continues those diagonal lines on the outside edge. Well, easy to do. It's got 2.5-inch strips in it, of course. Now this is block 1, and actually this is a 4.5-inch strip and a 2.5-inch. Now you can see they are repeated twice. This set of strips is repeated twice. And then the very center is just 2.5-inch strips again with that dark chain going right through there. Well, I've got my strips. I'm charging right through. 4.5-inch, 2.5-inch, and it's best if you cut them in half on the fold and place all of the cut edges at the top and the salvage edge at the bottom. That way, it's very convenient to sew half strips. You know, sometimes when you're cutting those strips and you open them up, you have that darn old crook right in the middle. Well, if you cut them in half, then you won't have that. It's easier to feed half strips right through. So much easier to press half strips. Well, I have a 1/4-inch foot on my machine, just lining up those edges, pedal right down through there with 15 stitches to the inch or 2.0 on the computerized sewing machine. So just zip right down there and then just press those seams to the dark side. Okay, if you place it on a gridded pressing mat and line up those strips, you'll avoid that bowing. So just set the seam right along there. Steam's great. And then just open and press right into the dark. Ooh, I love these tiny prints in the yellow. Okay, so this is the first strip of the set, and I already have the second set done. It's the all 2.5-inch strips, and they are also pressed all towards the dark, right in towards the middle. I'm just going to take these two pieces, get them cut into 2.5-inch sections. So take this section, place it right side up, and this particular one that I just now did right sides together to it, lock those seams in place. I just like to roll my hands in there and get them all lined up. The salvages are together because we're going to need to cut those off, get rid of them. Okay, you can use any kind of ruler. You could use a 6x12. I like to use this one because I can cut 2.5-inch sections so fast. So I'm going to line up the 0 line along here. Keep 0, some fabric to the left of 0, all that salvage. And I'm just going to put my cutter right in at 0, cut through both layers. I already marked 2.5 so that I can go quickly, and then I put a little tape at 5. When you get these all lined up, boy, you can just cut right across there so fast. Get them all done. Just a little shy of getting the whole strip cut. Now with these pieces all lined up, they're ready for sewing. And all you do is just pick up the pieces, wiggle those seams together. This is very fast to do. Okay, and just line them up, zip right down there. I do like to use my stiletto. Hold those seams flat. Now when you're cutting for a wall hanging size, you want to make 22. Lap robe has 44. Twin has 74. Double queen has 100, and oh my gosh, if you're going to do a king, 132. So you just keep on sewing all of these pieces right through there, line them up, and as soon as they are done, this is the best part, you don't need to press these. Just keep them all chained together and they're ready to go on. Okay, now these pieces are finished, so I'm going to move them out of the way, and I have the second set of this one already cut and ready to go. It's exactly the same as the first, but when you take this unit that you just sewed, you turn it around so that what was at the last one is now the top one. Lay it like this and take a stack of this new set, place it right sides together to it. Just flip this right sides together, lock those seams, and then just assembly line sew this unit right down one after the other. Okay, line that up in the outside edges, press that seam down flat, and once you have all of these pieces sewn together, then all you need to do is press the seam to one side. Hey, let me just get right through these and I will show you block number 2. When I travel around the country, I cross paths with many students who apparently do not want me throwing my scraps on the floor because everywhere they go, they give me a scrap sack. I have them in every different color. I have black and turquoise. This looks good. Very useful. And how about red? Students know I love red, and this is my own fabric line. Looks good. Look at this. Pastel, my favorite, with pink and blue, perfect for pins. One with an apple on the top, an apple for the teacher, and inside it says, when life gives you scraps, make quilts. And I even have a scrap sack with watermelon and strawberries on top. Oh, I have them in every color, and believe me, I use every single one of them. One on every single sewing machine I have. It's just so much fun. Well, let's get on to block number 2. Now, it's very similar to block number 1, only it's different values, 2 medium values. We have the yellow going through for the path and then blue background. They come from the same size strips. The first set is a 4.5 inch of the blue and a 2.5 inch of the yellow. For each block, you need to have 2.5 inch sections. And then the second piece is blue, yellow, blue. Only need to have one piece from that section. And this is how you lay them out. Take those 2 pieces and turn one in the opposite direction. And this one piece goes right in the middle. Sew them together the same way and then press those seams in one direction. Now this is important because you want all of your seams to lock together. Because they're mirror image, if you just press it in one direction, you can go ahead and turn your blocks in different ways. Now, I laid out a block here. It's made out of 2 block 1s and 2 block 2s. In the top 2 blocks, I want you to take the seams and turn them all to the left. Let me see. I've got to turn this one around. Let's see. All seams to the left. And then the second row, right across here, all of these seams are pointing to the right. Very important. So then take these pieces, just flip them right sides together, and I'm going to just sew straight down along there. Let me just grab them closer to my machine, and I am going. Making a lap robe with 12 different blocks in it, and it's going to go so fast. Okay, just line up these pieces right here, and at this seam, the seams will lock together. So just match up at the top edge, line them up, take them with your finger, use your stiletto, whatever, to get those rolled into place. When they lock, they're flat. They feel really flat. And then there's just that 4.5 inch section, no matching at all. Okay, take the next 2 sets. This is the 4.5, no matching, but right here, open them up, roll them in, feel them, squeeze them together, and just butt the second set right behind the first. That's the best thing about this, that every single seam locks together, and whenever locking seams work, then you can get really nice looking blocks. Okay, open them up, make sure, I've got that pattern, I've got a circle in my pads, then just take this piece, flip it right sides together, and lock those seams again. Now, so we can get a swirl around that very center seam. When you get to this seam right here, I've got to get that matched up, oh my gosh. Just a little bit off, can't have that. Right here at this seam, take the top one and push it up, and the underneath one and press it down. And that way we're going to do a little bit of a trick right here. Top up, and then down again. There's some locking seams. Just line them up with your fingers, hold them flat, grab your stiletto, whatever, go right across. You know, I just don't get it. Why is it that people don't want to throw their scraps on the floor? It's such a freeing experience. I'm going to check it out right in the middle, looking good. Now, so we can get this very center flat, I'm going to just take right here and clip these stitches. The ones that are going vertical up and down, just clip that stitch, and then with your stiletto, pick out these 3 vertical stitches. 1, 2, 3, right there. Turn it around on the other side. Those 3 vertical stitches, just pick them right out. Now, put them on your pressing mat, wrong side up. And the seams that we just now sewed get swirled around the middle. I'm just going to press them almost in a circle, just as I go around. And as you do that, you create this 4 patch right in the very middle. I'll show you. So then everything lays really flat. Right here, you can see that 4 patch that's created flat on that side and flat right here on the right side. Now I'm going to take my 12 blocks for my lap robe, sew them together 3 blocks across and 4 blocks down. I'm going to do all those vertical rows first, go back across the other way, and then I'll show you how to put on that inside border. This quilt has come a long way since the last time you saw it. I sewed the 12 blocks together, then I added the 6.5-inch wide inner border. Now 6.5 inches is the size of the block. And then I added the outside border of more blocks. Well, I just wanted to jazz up that inner border with some cable stitching. And I found the perfect stencil. Well, with the finished size of the block at 6 inches, this stencil is actually 6 inches from the center point right here up to the center point right here. So it's going to fit in just great on all of the sides. Well, I did some marking of my own on this stencil. If you find the center point right here and draw a diagonal line out to the outside edge, and then also find the center from here to here and draw a line right down through the middle. So you can match these up on your quilt, do these markings. Just take your ruler and a hair of marker and draw a diagonal line right through the corner. And then divide the 6-inch finished size of the border into 3 inches. And so just go right along there, move your ruler along, and just crease with your hair of marker. Now you'll see how this fits in perfectly. Okay, line up the diagonal line right along here and the straight center line along here. And it's ready for marking. Just find a water-soluble pen and draw right in those holes. Okay, take this and just drop your pen and just move like this along here. And from this point here and this point here, they are the same. Take this point and lift it up and match it to the next one. And then line up the straight line, continue marking the whole way down. And you'll see, it fits perfect. 8 down the sides and 6 on the top and the bottom. Then you can do more marking on the diagonal lines. Just take your ruler, line it up on those crossing pathways and just mark with your hair marker, or if you're good, you can just eyeball it. Well, after you get all of your marking done, then you want to do some safety pinning. It's pretty bulky whenever you're trying to mark with safety pins, but take 1-inch safety pins with pin covers and just take your pin, close it down on your pinning tool, pin away from where your diagonal lines or your quilting lines are going to be. Now, get rid of all this stuff. You've got to clear your table. Boy, you have to get some space. Now, I already put on my open toe walking foot. It is great because I can really see where I want to stitch. I set my stitch length at 10 stitches to the inch. Let me fold my fabric over so I can get it underneath my foot. How about this? Lift that needle up nice and high. All right. Okay, I'm just going to line it up on one of these lines and use the needle down position. Let me get it turned just a little bit. Needle down, and I'm just going to follow that line. Now I already stabilized both edges of this 6-inch border so that as I'm stitching around here, the stabilizing stitch is just going to hold that in place. So you can see how easy it is to just zoom right down around here. Well, this stitch is going to actually look like the quilt that's behind me. Look at that beautiful cabling along there. And after I do all of the stitching in this, then I'm going to go back and do all of the diagonal line quilting throughout the quilt. Let me just get this finished and I'll show you how beautiful it's going to look. My life has been blessed and enriched with paths I've crossed with my students. Well, today I have all their creative work to show you, and they are creative year-round. Lois Bresloff celebrated Halloween with her wall-hanging size crossing pathways. Well, her fabrics are just so much fun. There's pumpkins and checks and a really cute spiderweb fabric. And in her black inner border, she machine quilted pumpkins and then finished the blocks with diagonal lines. Well, Lois's quilts are always bright and cheery. They make me happy. Well, Sue Bouchard made this crossing pathways out of cozy flannels for Thanksgiving. Can you just think of cold nights snuggling under these rich golds? Ooh, there's greens and blues. Judy Jackson did the curving feathers in the inner border. What a beautiful job. Now, just as the binding finishes the quilt, Sue Fine's quilting binds all of us together from all walks of life. Doesn't matter about our background. We share the joy as one. Now, Sue always pieces together every leftover for her signature backing. That way, she starts out fresh every time. Well, Cora Eaton made 9 blocks of each set and set them together 3 across and 6 down for this festive Christmas table runner. I just love it. Well, she quilted with stippling and invisible thread. Now, Cora is a member of our charity quilters, and she finds quilting to be great therapy. She just loves the friendship of others. Lots of fun to get together. Well, Millie Norville selected spring fabrics for her lap robe in Easter egg colors of pink and lavender with 2 different shades of green. Now, Millie said, the pattern is fast and easy if you follow the directions. That's the big if. Well, she stitched a cable on her borders the easy way. She used this paper printed with lines. Now, first you peel these paper strips away and you expose the masking tape. Then you tape this pattern to the inner border, and then you simply stitch on the paper lines. Peel the paper away, and you're done. Easy. Well, I have 2 beautiful quilts in just cheery yellow and blue. Well, I finished my cables on the border, used the walking foot. Then I spritzed that blue water-soluble ink with cold water, and you know, that ink disappeared. Well, Juanita Haynes made this one. So much fun. She said it started out a lap robe. She had so much fun, she enlarged it to a queen. Well, Juanita usually gives all her quilts away, but she said, this one, she's keeping for her guest room. Now, instead of making a border from the blocks, she made a framing border in the blue and then strips of background, yellow and blue. Now, Kathy Sandhoffner did the beautiful long arm quilting in it. Well, it's easy to say thank you to everyone, but it's harder to convey the deep and heartfelt gratitude I really feel crossing pathways with so many wonderful people in the last 25 years. May our paths continue to cross.